Greenland. Enough ice melted on single day to cover Florida in 2 inches of water.
Here's a summary of the article.
Greenland's vast ice sheet is undergoing a surge in melting, with the amount of ice vanishing in a single day this week enough to cover the whole of Florida in 2 inches of water, researchers have found. The scale of disappearing ice is so large that the losses on Tuesday alone created enough meltwater to drown the entire U.S. state of Florida in 2 inches, or 5 centimeters, of water. The Danish government data shows that the island has lost more than 100 bn tons of ice since the start of June this year, and while the severity of melting is less than in 2019 when 11 bn tons of ice was lost in a single day, the area affected is much larger in 2021. It's hard to say if it will be a record year for melting this year, but there is a ton of warm and moist air over the ice sheet that's causing an amazing amount of melt, said Brad Lipovsky, a glaciologist at the University of Washington. If all the ice in Greenland melted, the global sea level would jump by about 6 meters, and although this is unlikely to happen on any sort of foreseeable timescale, scientists have warned that the world's largest island is reaching a tipping point due to the pressures exerted upon it by global heating. Greenland's ice is melting faster than any time in the past 12,000 years, scientists have calculated, with the ice loss running at a rate of around 1 million tons a minute in 2019. Greenland and the Earth's other polar region of Antarctica have together lost 6.3 tn tons of ice since 1994. This rate of ice loss, which is accelerating as temperatures continue to increase, is changing ocean currents, altering marine ecosystems and posing a direct threat to the world's low-lying coastal cities, which risk being inundated by flooding. A 2019 research paper found the Greenland ice sheet could add anything between 5 centimeters and 33 centimeters to global sea levels by the end of the century.
This post received a score of 12,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Reminds me of that old curse. May you live in interesting times. Buckle up everyone. The next few decades are gonna be rough.
Preppers might actually not be crazy anymore.
Time to go bury 15 school buses to create an underground bunker.
Bury boats if the water is coming.
I live in central PA, so I'm not worried about water too much. I'm more worried about extreme heat and severe weather, like the EF3 tornado that ripped through a Philly suburb 2 days ago.
Dude, that thing wreaked havoc. I'm seriously worried about the increase in intensity of storms. Why is it so hard for corporations to understand that if they don't get with the program we will lose our planet as we know it?
I imagine it's sort of like realism in international relations. If a business, government doesn't trust other businesses, governments to go green, then they feel that they would be at a comparative disadvantage by cutting emissions themselves, so they maintain the status quo. That's why there needs to be comprehensive change through international agreements and actual consequences like embargoes for states that do not comply. Unfortunately, international businesses are not heavily regulated by international laws. Prisoner's dilemma essentially.
Can't wait till my central Florida land is beachfront.
You might want to move to southern Alabama.
And give up my newly acquired beachfront. You wish.
Anybody have the map of the projected sea levels when all the ice melts? I think it's a great time to make a really specific realty investment.
You might want to look at the actual sea level rise projections under the best and the worst climate scenarios first. When it comes to the even in the article, it is, apparently, the third largest in the history of observations. 2019 was larger. To provide context, the study below says it takes over 300 GT to raise the sea levels by 1 millimeter. Lastly, this is how Greenland is expected to behave in the future. The study above was published at the end of 2020 after 2019's record melt, which was larger than this one, so it's safe to say those projections won't be meaningfully changed by them.
Double as much as on a normal day using 1980 to 2010 baseline. Edit, sorry, the baseline changed to 1980 to 2010 recently, so it is even worse than I thought. 1980 to 2000 was used till a year or two ago.
Less than every year of 2012 to 2018.
What are you comparing here?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he is saying that the rate of melt indicated by OP is lower than the rate of melt in the years 2012 to 2018, inclusively. The first comment contextualizes the rate versus a historical baseline, while Omicronstrain's comment serves to contextualizes the rate versus other recent years. The take-home is that the rate described by OP is quite a bit higher than historical averages and is not a fluke.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.